Flax seeds, great. They're one of the few seeds that are higher on omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid than the omega-6s, which you might find in the sunflower, sunflower or the pumpkin life seeds. Although having said that, all seeds are good and they give a lot of benefits. So I wouldn't disregard anything. You just always have to find out what works for you and what your own triggers actually are. And if you find that you get any kind of a reaction or a flare up from arthritis with any food, just simply avoid it. So it's kind of simple really. But what I'm going to pair this with is I'm going to make a very, very simple cracker. It's just a couple of ingredients in it, flaxseed crackers, very, very simple. But a good alternative, because all of those processed crackers, the high wheat ones, they have multiple ingredients in them and they're not doing any favors to anybody, even people who don't have things like arthritis or chronic issues, you know. So these are a good little one to have in your store cupboard, very easy to make. So I'm going to be using flaxseed, and then I'm going to just pair that up with a normal tin of sardines. Again, getting lovely fresh quality fish isn't easy for everybody, but the omega-3 fatty acids are very, very important to get into your diet. So canned fish is a good solution. Now when you're picking your canned fish, try go for the one which is either canned in olive oil or spring water. If that's all you can get, just drain off the sunflower oil from the other ones and the other whatever oils they're using. But if you can get in the olive oil, it's good. So I'm just going to use canned sardines, and I'm going to be just mixing that up with a few herbs and things like that. And these are a good way of getting a little shot of omega-3 into your system. But anyhow, the flax seeds, the crackers, very, very simple. What you do is, in a little bowl, get flaxseed, and your ratio is 2 cups flaxseed. And then use the same cup, fill it with water, 1 cup of water. And then what I'm going to do is mix that, just lightly mix it, covering all the flaxseed with the water. And then pop it, put a cover on it, a little bit of cling wrap or cover or whatever way you would like to do it yourself, and put it in the fridge overnight. And when you come back the next day, you're going to find that the flax seeds have absorbed all the water and they stick together like really well, like kind of almost like a glue. So this one has been soaking overnight. And what I'm going to do here is just put a tiny, tiny pinch of salt in that, not much. Mix it around. And then you can play around with your own herbs. I'm going to use a little bit of rosemary because I find that carries very well through these. I'm going to use, just to give it a little bit of spice, and a good thing to put into your diet with arthritis is cayenne pepper. And again, you could use normal chili powder, but the cayenne pepper does bring with it a few added benefits. Make it as hot or as mild as you want. And then we'll just roll these out. Now I've preheated my oven to 170 degrees centigrade. Even 175, but don't really go over 180 because I find that you can end up burning very quickly and things like that. And you're trying to more dry these together, and you'll find that they stick together beautifully. So I'm using a silicone mat, but you don't need to use a silicone mat. I find sometimes it's better just throw this straight on the board and then put it onto the thing. You could use 2 sheets of greaseproof paper, one on top of the other. I'm going to very, very lightly oil this, just tiny, tiny drop of oil on both. Just literally 1/4 teaspoon, just to kind of as a little bit of insurance policy that it's not going to all stick together on me as it cooks. And likewise with your silicone mat, just move it around. I could use a brush, but this is fine like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just spoon on my flax seeds. This one's, as I said, had been soaking overnight. I've just mixed them with a few seasonings, and I'm going to kind of bunch them up and pop them on my mat. Probably enough even for 2 separate batches here. Again, these will hold very, very well. So if you're making them, you're probably, as well as you're turning on the oven and everything else, to make a couple of them, a couple of batches. And you want to roll these quite thin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shape them and form them up a little bit so that they're all kind of together. And you kind of judge if you have enough. Again, I'll get 2 trayfuls of these guys on. And then put the other sheet of greaseproof over these. Kind of flatten out a little bit, shape them out. And then roll them quite thin, even almost just down to one layer, 1 or 2 layers of the actual seeds. And I have a few too many on my board thing, so that's not a big issue. Just lift them off, we'll put them on a second mat. And I'm going to just roll these out. Until they get nice and thin. And as you can see, I only have like 1 layer of the seeds on this. If you have a little bit of surplus, just pop them on and put them on a second mat. And then you just go to a second sheet, tie these up a little bit, and then we're going to put those into the oven. Now when we're baking in the oven, we're going to leave the sheet of greaseproof paper on top of it, and it just kind of protects them from getting a bit burnt on top. And just to show you after I've rolled the sheet, before it goes into the oven, a nice thin layer of my flaxseed already. And with my little batch here, I'll get 2 batches here. And again, you're better off cooking plenty of these. And then when we're cooked, transfer it onto the baking sheet. Do keep your top sheet of greaseproof paper on this. So there's my 2 sheets of crackers ready to go. And I'm just going to pop those into my oven at 275 degrees. And these will take roughly 50 minutes to cook. And as you can see, I've left the greaseproof paper on them as they're baking. So having cooked at 175 for about 50 minutes, everybody's oven will vary a little bit, so do keep an eye on them. And as you notice, I've kept the greaseproof paper on these little crackers. They are cooked. And I'm just gonna take those out. And there we have it. And as you can see there, after getting lovely and crispy, and as they cool down, they're going to get crispier. You can break these into little chips or into larger pieces, which we're going to use then for a little simple idea. But you can use these for anything, just dipping, whatever, even on their own. And you know, it's a good little idea, and they'll store beautifully as well in an airtight container once they're fully cold. Beautiful. So to turn these into just a little idea, again, you can use these little crackers for anything. There they are. I've just taken 2 nice pieces. They're quite robust as well. The flaxseed, it holds together lovely. It's a great carrier for other good ingredients. So what I'm going to do here is I just got a normal tin of sardine, crush them up a little bit. Sometimes the sardines on their own and thing can be a little bit bland, you know. And it's a great, this is one of the easiest ways of getting that little bit of omega-3s into your diet. So I've just chopped up a little bit of chive, a little piece of oregano. You could use parsley, garlic, it doesn't really matter. Just to kind of give a little bit more to the sardine. I'm just going to bring up its acid level, because sometimes these are, I find, they're preserved in oil, and you need something to kind of cut through that oil, even the olive oil or the spring roll. So I'm just going to use half a line. You could use more, you could use less. Again, this is just a little idea just to play with. And now we have a little sardine kind of pate, I suppose. No need for salt in that. It's already got all the salt it wants. So our little flax seeds now. And as you can see, our crackers. I'm going to just get a couple of pieces of lettuce. Use, as opposed to the small leaves, I'd recommend that you use the kind of bigger leaf lettuces. That way they hold together nicely. Lovely, fresh, simple. Then we'll get our sardines, our kind of enhanced tin of sardines. You know, one of the best fish for omega-3s, because unlike the tunas and things like that, which you want to be careful eating too much of, due to naturally occurring mercury in seawater, which kind of concentrates. Sardines are a plankton eater. They're kind of the next step after plankton up in on the food chain. So you don't get high levels of any of those kind of toxins in these guys. So it really makes them a very, very good choice. I just have a couple of pieces of chive that I just retained just to kind of drizzle on top. And there's a nice simple little snack lunch sandwich of our sardines on flaxseed crackers. Really easy. Beautiful little dish.